Joey Jackson, I want to talk to you about, this is Las Vegas, all right? This is a Las Vegas jury. I'm licensed in Las Vegas. I know a little bit about Las Vegas juries. I know a little bit about Las Vegas. Las Vegas, traditionally conservative, Mormon-based, right. But the majority of people in Las Vegas work on the Strip. Can that mentality of this jury listen to that defense questioning a bit more?
You know, Gene, great question. Anything's possible, but I don't like this defense one bit, and I'm going to tell you two reasons why. The first reason is that whenever you're shaming a victim, it becomes problematic, but becomes even more problematic when that victim was beaten almost to death. There are broken bones, there's lost teeth, and so now you're going to cross-examine on fantasies and expect the jury to buy in and to relate to that? So that's the first problem that I really have an issue with. The second one is, even if you have these fantasies, does that mean that you're justifying getting beat? Could that potentially be a fantasy? This isn't a whodunit case. We know he did it. This is a mitigation case. He's not walking out of that courtroom. There's no question about it. The issue is, how does the defense lessen the blow to their client?
Well, they're saying, let's listen to the next thought, Joey.
Okay.
Being choked unconscious. Listen to this.
How many times do you believe John choked you to unconsciousness?
At least 3. I'm sorry, do you mean sexually or not?
Sexually.
Sexually, at least 3.
And when you woke up, he would still be going at it?
Yes.
David Bruno, want to bring you in as a prosecutor, and you see the defense going after the victim like this.
Sure.
You're sitting in your chair thinking, jury's not going to buy this. They've got empathy. They're seeing the pictures. They see this woman that has been brutally beaten.
Yes, I agree. I agree with Joey. And I think the mistake that this defense is making is that they should be going after the top count, okay? Because the top count is attempted murder. And I think they're best off going and making a defense and trying to argue that the intent wasn't to kill. And they may be losing credibility for the jury with this defense. And they're, in essence, trying to say that because she had these dreams and these ideas that it was accepting of this violent abuse and beating. I mean, to the point where it came out in testimony that she couldn't even talk to the investigator at the hospital when he's trying to ask her questions because her teeth were gone. Okay, and that's where I think the problem is. They got to go to the attempted murder in that defense.
And Joey, very fast, what would be a better defense?
I think you have to mitigate. Listen, and anybody where they see someone who they love, who they're emotionally connected with, Gene, they see them in bed, they're going to lose it.
Exactly. The timeline, that small portion of time right there. She sends the text to him. The other guy's coming to the house. War Machine surprises her. And there's a guy in her bed.
And that's what you do. But shaming the victim and saying you wanted a beating, the Vegas jury's going to buy that? I don't think so.
All right. Well, more when we come back. So David Bruno, she is in her house. She has a friend. They had been romantic, but that night they may have just been friends.
Right.
So how can the prosecutor use that to show the intent to kill her as another man is in her bed?
Yeah, sure, motive. Right, that's #1 motive. He comes in and he's reacting to something, but it goes both ways as to what Joey just brought up. But the fact of the matter is this is a very persuasive witness. In fact, Ashleigh said last Thursday that it's one of the most persuasive she's ever seen in her career. And it comes down to credibility because she is saying, no, I did not invite this. I did not welcome this. I did not consent to this. And that's where the defense is going to have to attack the credibility of her, because if she's believed, then they're going to find him guilty of all the charges.
And Joey, you don't always have a living victim.
No, you don't. But let me tell you what gives her credibility. Look at the pictures we've been looking at all night, Gene. How can you not have a reaction to that as a juror, right? They're human. They see this. Right. And you're defending on the ground of the defense that it was some fantasy. Look at that, Gene. You look at that. It's hard not to have a reaction that is powerful. But at the end of the day, if the defense could negate intent, here's a guy who was coming home. He's stewing. He's brewing. He can't believe it. Oh, my goodness. He engaged in the act and he snapped out of it. So he wasn't intending to kill her. He just had such a mental state that was so far gone that at that time he couldn't control himself. But once he snapped back, he stopped. That's not attempted murder. That's the argument.
David, very quickly, are you concerned that Antonio, the reporter out there, does not see the jurors reacting?
No, I'm not. The facts are strong for the prosecutor right now, and this is a good witness, like Ashleigh said.
Maybe they're being strong,
yeah,
so they don't get emotional in this.
Absolutely. I'm not concerned whatsoever.
Well, all right, I want to go to David Bruno. David,
yes.
Do you realize that this young girl, 21 years old, was missing for 6 days? And he said, I don't know where she is. I don't know. I dropped her off in downtown Detroit. So for 6 days, her family, her friends, volunteers are walking and putting posters up and trying to find, and then they finally get him to confess. Now, David, I want you to listen to this. This is the next part of his confession where he goes even into more detail.
Is that what it was about?
No, it wasn't about sex or anything.
Okay.
I don't know.
Did you guys talk about having sex?
No.
Did you try to have sex with her and she didn't want to?
No.
All right, David, they never talked about sex, but he has sex with her after he murders her. Are you concerned that this 24-year-old may have done something like this in the past? I mean, is this normally a first crime for somebody?
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I mean, these facts are disturbing, no question about it, and that's why he got life. You know, and I prosecuted a similar case that didn't have the sexual element to it, but I had two brothers that killed a 16-year-old and chopped up her body. And they were both sentenced to life as well. And he got what he deserved. He admitted to it, he did it, and he was convicted of it, and now he's going to spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Without parole. Yeah.
You have to be, I know you're a defense attorney, former prosecutor, but you have to be disgusted by this.
Look, there's no question about it. Defense attorneys do their job. At the end of the day, the juries render their verdict. And you heard the mom before, and she was just beyond herself, and you really can't blame her. You take away someone's pride and joy. And at the end of the day, listen, the way it works is you look at the tenets of the justice system, right? Punishment, deterrence, rehabilitation. This person cannot be rehabilitated based upon what he did, and so an automatic life sentence without parole is plainly appropriate, defense attorney or not. Let's call it for what it is.
And here's another fact. Someone smelled something in the attic, and that's how they found the body. And under